Hey, enthusiasts, what's happening? This is Salty Language, episode 690.
The 690th podcast on the network.
It's true.
Right.
It's true. Our combined holiday episode.
Yeah, it's been wild.
Yeah.
It has been something. I mean, I don't know how your Christmas was, but I was sick as a fucking dog most of mine.
Perfect. That's exactly what you hope for every year. You know, is can I please get sick over the holidays?
Dude, it was horrible, man. Yeah, it sucked. Just, now I'm still like, like this will be the most I've talked in a while. So we'll see how it goes.
Right. Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah, because usually when you get one of those colds, you hit that point to where it's like the more you talk, the more you cough.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
and like that's
sure.
Half the reason we didn't do a holiday episode or whatever is like I'm like there's no way I could fucking talk. Yeah.
Right.
It wouldn't have happened. Would have been a 5-minute episode and half of it's me dying.
Hashtag more Brian. Hashtag more
there you
Brian. Go. Yeah. Give the people what they want.
Oh man. But yeah,
Dang it, there we go.
I mean, I guess let's go backwards in time here, Brian. How was your Christmas?
It was good. It was, well, Christmas Eve stunk on ice, but I got up to because my family was doing breakfast for dinner, and so everybody was supposed to bring something, and my mom decided to do some sausage and biscuits, or sausage gravy and biscuits, I should say. Yeah, right. And I'm about that. So I got up to kind of help and whatever, and dude, I had the worst freaking headache. And I was just up for a little bit, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I gotta go take my, one of my pills and lay down. And so I didn't end up going. But there was still some stuff left that she brought back. So I made sure to, crush some of that later on, though, for sure. I texted you and Cheeto because I made a comment about, oh no, I don't think it was that. I think that was when we had it like a week before. I ate so much of it. Oh my God, I thought I was going to die, but it was worth it.
Sausage gravy is always worth it.
Yeah. Well, it was weird because we made it a few months ago and it was like, there was just like no taste to it. And I'm like, this is weird because it's like the same way we've always, they always make it. And I was talking with Jeannie and telling her, and she goes, oh, that's a crime. And I'm like, I know, because it stinks when you get bad sausage gravy, right? Like, and it's like you couldn't taste the sausage in it. And she goes, well, what are you using? And I was like, well, my mom always just would use Bob Evans sausage. That's what she used, and that's what I used most of the time. And Jeannie said she had learned to use like one roll of hot and one roll of regular. So the next time we made it, we did that, and world of difference. Definitely got the flavor in there. Plus that heat is, you need a little bit of heat in your sausage gravy, I
still want to make chorizo
for sure
sausage gravy.
Oh, it's gotta be amazing. Yeah. So yeah, that made a massive difference. But so anyways, like I said, when she got home, once I was not groggy from my medicine, I went out and smashed some of that. And I forgot what else they sent. There was like a French toast casserole. There was my sister made blueberry pancakes, and I forgot what else there was. Oh, it was some sort of like a breakfast. It was basically like cheesy potatoes with ham and sausage and whatever. And so I had a little bit of that, the next day, and that was all tasty also.
Nice.
So it was, I was doing all right on there. But it's funny, we exchanged gifts, and it's like every year there always seems to be like one gift that's like the MVP gift, right? Might not be the most expensive, the flashy gift, but you're like, this is the gift I needed / really hit. And this year it was as a very warm-blooded individual, I can't really use a thick blanket.
Meanwhile, I'm wearing a thick blanket.
Right. I will die from the heat. So the blanket I had on my bed was kind of thin, but it was warm, but it wasn't big enough for my whole bed. So if I laid diagonal or kind of in the fetal position, I was covered. But if I stretched all the way out, basically my tootsies were hanging
sounds like
out,
a problem.
you know? Yeah, sometimes, you know. But anyway, my mom got me basically a similar blanket, but it's like a king size one. So it fits the whole bed, you know, and it's
nice.
It's perfect, you know. Yeah. And it really is like I said, it's the MVP gift for sure. Cause it's like, I didn't realize how much nicer it is to have a blanket that fits the whole bed. Cause I've just gotten used to the other one.
Right.
You know, but now that I have one that I don't have to kind of maneuver myself to stay covered, it's, you know, it's quite nice.
Yes.
Quite nice. Yeah. So highly recommend getting a blanket that fits your bed. Well, the other one's, I think, kind of more of like a throw blanket or something,
tiny
you know,
as
and
it
this
sounds
one's
like
actually
it.
yeah.
What is this? A hand cloth?
So well, it's funny because it's like it just needs to be 4 or 5 inches longer and it'd be fine. But it's just that short. So like I said, when if I stretch all the way out, like my feet hang out, you know, which sometimes is no big deal. Cause again, when I get really hot, I stick my feet out from under the blanket so the monsters can get them.
That's what we all do, right? Feed the monsters.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody's got to feed them.
But you know, sometimes it's cold and you're like, I really don't want any part of me exposed. Right. Now I don't have to worry. There's only one downside to it though, which is like if I happen to flip it off of me when I go to grab it, the last blanket had like it was very soft on both sides, but the underside of it had a little different texture, so I could feel which way was which, you know, so I could tell where to grab to pull it back over me. This one's basically the same on both sides, so a couple times I pulled like the full all the way from the right all to where I'm basically like if you were folding an omelet.
I mean,
you know, and I'm just folding.
That sounds comfortable. If I could sleep in a giant fluffy
who doesn't
omelet,
want a delicious?
Come on, now.
Right? As I say, who doesn't want a delicious meat omelet? Me just folded up.
I'm not lying. Like eggs. A nice warm pillowy egg comforter. While it's warm, it sounds amazing, great. But when you wake up, it's gonna be the grossest shit ever.
It's terrible. Yeah. Yeah. And you can't reheat it.
If you reheat eggs, you're a fucking animal. I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, I remember years ago, I don't remember where, it was like Men's Health or something like that. That was basically like, you know, you can reheat eggs in a skillet. And I was like, okay, well, I'll try. Because clearly I'm not microwaving.
What do you mean?
They turn like rubber and disgusting.
I always put mine under just a hot lamp.
Yeah. That's the right move. Yeah. I usually just sit on mine for a while, you know. But yeah, I did them in a skillet and I'm like, it was better than the microwave, but it was still very inferior to just making fresh eggs.
Or the creme de la creme.
Yeah. Cause I remember seeing one of them like, oh, you can do like your egg round or whatever and like freeze them so you can just make your own egg McMuffins and you don't have to do the eggs fresh. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just make the egg fresh? It takes like 3 minutes to make an egg.
I guess if it's part of a sandwich situation, it's probably not as offensive to me as if you're just like reheating scrambled eggs or something.
Oh God, no. Oh,
like if you're making, I can see the pre-made egg if you're making sandwiches ahead of time and freezing them.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, if you just have a sleeve of frozen egg rounds in your freezer ready for a sandwich, it's like, I'll just make the egg right there. Because then I get that.
I get it. Sometimes you don't have time. Yeah.
If I'm making a breakfast sandwich, Brian, I make time for it.
Yeah, no, I understand. Listen, Tony, you'll think you had time for it.
That's accurate.
but it'll make. Why were you late? Like I had to make breakfast.
That's why
sandwich.
I typically don't eat breakfast because I genuinely don't think I have time for it.
Yeah, that makes sense. See, what you need to do is put yourself like a George Foreman thing or something situation in your bathroom.
Oh, God.
And while you're in there, you could just just get everything done at one time. No, not trying to make a sandwich while you're showering.
Get that weird appliance that has like all parts of the sandwich get cooked at the same time. Whatever the hell that thing is.
Yeah, that's the perfect breakfast thing.
Quite.
Right. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, it was. But otherwise, Christmas overall was pretty decent though. So
nice.
Yeah.
Ours was busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas Eve was chill. We didn't do anything Christmas Eve.
Right.
But Christmas Day, which was also my last day of my 5 days off, it was fucking, going to her parents' house and all the nieces are over there and they're all, it's just pure insanity and lunacy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came here and, my kids come over, which isn't as bad, obviously. Not as loud and obnoxious. But it was just such a busy day. And it's like, I was already trying to do housework and all and laundry because I'm going to work the next day. And then what a waste of time those 2 days were. Oh my God.
Yeah, I bet.
It sucked. Same with these 2 days because I've also been off since, last Friday.
Right. Yep. Now you do the same thing. Get
although
back in the swing,
these 2 days
laundry.
actually, I was busier than shit today because it's like end of year, end of month. Normally the stuff I have to do at work isn't a ton, but I space it out. When it's in 2 days on top of a bunch of other shit. Oh, God, I was so busy today.
Oh, yeah.
And my boss isn't there either. So it's just me.
Sure, of
just
course.
little old me.
Yeah. Right.
It's good times, man.
It's like, hey, Tony, your bonus is inside this Christmas card. You open it up, the card just says "Go fuck yourself."
It kind of feels like that sometimes. Oh man, but I think my my MVP present, for going back to that, was Michelle got me a very nice gaming headset because my other one is apparently sounding like trash. I didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very. Okay. Yeah, I guess it was very old, but yeah, it's quite nice. Quite nice.
Yeah, it is nice when you can upgrade your headset because, like, the one I've got now. I mean, the one I have now is, I've had it for a few years, but it's like a Turtle Beach one that was a refurb, but it was like $100 one that refurb, and it was like $40. So at GameStop, and it's worked pretty well during the time I've had it, but God, it's so much better than the one I had before that.
I'm amazed at the stuff I hear now. I'm like, oh, I never noticed that before,
that's what, Yeah, I started noticing more like footsteps and stuff in Call of Duty when I first got it that I didn't even hear before. And I was like, oh, yeah, I bet this helps a whole lot when you're trying to snipe. That way you can hear people creeping up on you.
Exactly.
Like, okay.
Yeah, no, Christmas was good, but God, it's always just the busyness of it. I'm just over it.
Yeah, it's super crazy and then it's like boom and it's over.
Exactly, super crazy. You spend way more money than you normally do because I gotta gift people shit or whatever, and then it's just done. Like that following weekend, I took down my tree, took down my lights because it was warm outside, like oddly warm outside.
That's the move, man. And everybody who waited until like today or something to do it, suckers.
Yeah, it was so warm. I'm like, I need to do this today because it's warm. I was just out there in my fucking t-shirt. I thought about it. It was like 60 degrees.
I thought about
insane.
It. We don't have anything complicated outside. It's just like, a couple of those. It's just like a spiral tree that kind of just collapses down. So they only take a couple minutes to really take them apart. But it was like, I was thinking about it today, and I'm like, I really we should have done that last week when it was warm. We should have just taken them down. But I understand, my mom wanted to leave up the lights and all that stuff.
It's like I was walking Bomber, during that warm spell, and I'm just in a light hoodie, and I'm just like I'm walking through the neighborhood. It's all Christmas lit up. It's just like, this is not right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like it's 60 degrees, but everyone's got Christmas shit up. Yeah, it's like this must be similar to Florida.
It felt really weird. Yeah, and then to get this, I was cutting up on my side streets heading back to the house, and they're kind of close to my house, but they have a pergola. You can see the top of it from the over the privacy fence. So I was walking by, and they're just out there hanging outside watching football. There's a TV hanging off the side of it. And I'm like, this is in between Christmas and New Year. What the fuck is happening?
It's wild. I know. And now, for the next 2 weeks or whatever, at least they're saying it's going to be below average. It's going to be in the 20s for most of the next week and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to get worse. Like, it's just dropping from this point forward, you know. Yeah. I went to the grocery store today and just, you know, going between the store. It's so amazing when you go in a store. Like, I went to the post office today and I was talking with the guy and waiting while he was scanning the packages that I took. And it was in there just long enough to get warm. Then you walk outside and you're like, holy shit. Because it's probably, 65, 70 inside. You go outside and it's like 30. It's like, this is like a 35 degree
like punch
change.
in the face.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I know all about it. Like when you're doing deliveries, you're in and out of everywhere, But it was just like you kind of forget about that a little bit. Then I'm in the store and, you get nice and toasty in the store and you go back outside and you're loading the groceries and you're freezing because, again, you've just all of a sudden it's like 30, 40 degrees colder than it was like a minute ago, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's insane. It sucks.
Yeah. So, yeah, it does. Especially when you get older, it makes your knees ache and all that shit. Well, ache more.
Yeah. I was thinking about that yesterday because it was just like as soon as I hit like 43, I just started falling apart. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, basically. Well, you remember we talked about that article where scientists found, what is it? It was about like 44 or 45, I think. Yeah, and it was like that's basically the second breakdown of your body.
Yeah, it's unreal to me. Like right now, I'm sitting here, I'm like, my back hurts, my one foot hurts,
Yep.
My knuckles are so dry, they're already start shooting blood everywhere. Yeah,
ooh, that's hot. Yeah. They had a thing on the news yesterday or the day before about whether or not hangovers are actually worse as you age.
I would say, yeah.
And the one doctor was like, he's like, they are, but they're not. He said the reason that they are is simply because we don't have those supple young organs anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
And basically younger people, their blood pumps faster through their body because they don't have all the shit buildup that we do from years of eating like shit or whatever. And, hereditary stuff and whatever. So basically their body just metabolizes it and gets it out quicker than our bodies.
So what you're saying, Brian, is I need a shitload of young blood. All right.
If you take nothing else away from this episode.
All right. Blood. You heard it here first, folks. Yep. 2025, year of the blood.
Yep. Young blood.
Well, I don't want to copyright infringe image.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you went to image. But yeah, that's it kind of made me laugh watching it because I'm like, dude, if this guy comes on here and says it's not true, I'm gonna find him and slap him.
old man strength.
Be like, clearly you are not a 40-year-old that drinks because you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So I've barely been drinking lately. We went to Maumee Bay yesterday. We got a gift card for Christmas, right? Went there for lunch.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
One bartender hated him. He doesn't get along real well with toothbrushes and floss. It looks like it was vile.
Wow. Okay.
Like his mouth
awesome.
was the color of this bottle of bourbon I got for Christmas.
Nice.
Vile, dude.
That's the perfect shade. Yeah. Whenever you see those Crest commercials.
And he was just annoying. And we've had him before, and he annoyed us then. I was just like, fuck is this guy?
Of course.
Not the point.
Yeah.
So I had a Blitzen, which I'm not going to lie, was not good. It tasted thin.
Really? Oh,
right?
That's no good.
And then I was like, well, Blitzen's like a 7.7. And I'm just going to get a nice low ABV beer, have one more, and we'll be done.
Sure, something about 7. Yeah.
Uber Blitzen, barrel aged.
Right.
Which I should have got instead of Blitzen, honestly, but.
And then pour some bourbon in that.
But so they have a light lager now, and it's like 3.8. And I'm like, wow, that's really low ABV. I guess I haven't had it. So
they just pour you a water.
That's it almost looked like water when it showed up.
Well, I mean,
it was
I'm not surprised,
I always sniff my beer like a goddamn bloodhound. I couldn't smell anything. Michelle said she smelled a little bit. This 40, almost 45-year-old nose is fucking falling apart, right?
Right. She got drunk off the sniff.
I don't even know how old I am anymore. It doesn't matter.
82,
That's what it
82 I
feels like.
believe. Yeah, whatever it is in Brian and Tony years,
Yeah,
like triple
exactly.
it. So if you're 45, you're whatever triple that is. I
But
ain't
so
doing
it
math.
didn't really taste like much either. Like, it had a hint of beer. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
a Heineken Zero tastes more beer-like than that did.
So basically, what you had was a LaCroix beer or a
Yes,
LaCroix beer.
like beer-flavored LaCroix.
Right. To where they walk the beer by the
Yes.
water, and that's
But
what
so,
you got.
so
All
get
right.
this. We get home. Michelle's like, hey, I'm going to go lay down for a little bit. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And I'm taking a nap. And I'm like, I think I was started playing a game or something. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm just like, God, why am I so tired all of a sudden? I'm just yawning.
That blitzing got
thinking
you.
like maybe I'll go lay down and like take a nap with her or something, you know? And then like I started doing stuff around the house. I started getting this headache and I'm like, am I fucking getting hung over from these off of blitzing in a water? Like is that what's happening right now?
Oh shit! I can't call you a cheap date because blitzing's like $9 a glass, but
I think that's because it's.
Are you a lightweight?
I mean, that's
now?
fine.
I'm sure I am.
So I basically like you know I have a couple beers a couple times a month now, and then and that's about it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think the last time I had a beer was when I was at your house when the last.
Oh wow!
Time.
All right, fair enough.
I've had a little bit of bourbon a couple of times here, just like a small pour of it, but I haven't really been anywhere to really get a beer or anything. So,
but yeah, dude, it was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. They had a different guy on the news talking about how he said there's some research that's kind of pointing to that it's not about how much you drink, but it's about how much over what you normally drink that correlates to your hangover. So if you drink what you normally drink, you probably won't get much of a hangover, right? Because that's your limit, that's your tolerance. But if once you go over your limit, you're probably you may get a mild hangover. The further you go, the worse it might be. He's saying they're seeing correlation, not there's no causation yet.
It kind of makes sense.
He said they need to do more, a bigger study and everything. But I was like, that's interesting, and that
it's
does
like
make sense.
if you do 20 push-ups a day, and then one day you're like, fuck it, I'm doing 40, you're gonna hurt.
Yeah, exactly, right. And that's basically the idea. Yeah, so
interesting.
I was like, huh, all right. Yes, science.
I missed the soundboard.
Oh, there's no knowledge going.
Oh, I missed the soundboard. Speaking of missing sounds, this is a weird segue, but I'm going with it.
That's a very weird segue.
Right. New Year's Eve, kids came over. We had dinner and played a bunch of board games. It was nice. But when Leah showed up early to make brownies, which were also delicious, I was just looking for anything to put on. Just background noise. And HBO Max has Beetlejuice right now. And I noticed they have a version of it's Beetlejuice with ASL. And I was like, how does this work? So we loaded the movie up. And in the corner, she takes up, I don't know, maybe a quarter of this corner of the screen. It's like a woman doing sign language in front of a green screen.
Really?
And she does when the lightning crashes, she does that. She did like dogs barking and growling, and it's wild. It's a little distracting.
The one thing I wonder.
Yes.
Well, I would think so.
It's because it's a human closed caption.
It makes me wonder.
Yeah.
Right. It makes me wonder, like, does she basically do a sign that it's like, this is Beetlejuice? Well, I guess you can see it. Okay. So I guess you don't need her to say, this is Beetlejuice talking.
Yeah, because they're not blind. If they're blind, it's a whole different situation.
Yeah. Well, then that sign language doesn't really help you a whole lot there. I was watching a show on Max last night called Poor Devil, I think it is. It's an animated series where basically the Antichrist is born, but he doesn't want to be the Antichrist. And, his dad is obviously the devil and keeps wanting. So everything he tries to do good, he ends up screwing up. Like he actually he makes some comment about like babies having guns, and his dad's like, yeah, you should do that. And pushes him that way, that they should push legislation to make it to where babies can have guns.
Sounds American to me.
And he does. everything he can to not get it passed. And he ends up, of course, screwing up to where it ends up like passing with flying colors.
Well, of course, right?
And his dad's like, man, that's amazing. I can't believe you got that, But anyways, when I started the show up, like it didn't say anything about being in Spanish, any of this. And the characters just start speaking Spanish. And I'm like, well, I'll turn subtitles on, And when I went to turn subtitles on, I saw languages and I'm like, oh, there's a dub. Like, why wouldn't that be default? Like, why? Like, because I'm in America, or not in America, but I have everything else
you
on
would
English.
Think, right? Like I'm not gonna lie, dude. So because I just Googled it so I could pull it up on the browser for the video, and a lot of it was in Spanish, and I'm like, huh. But we have a lot of Spanish people who live in our neighborhood. We got the Mexican restaurant right up the road from us. Yeah, I get targeted ads that are, I'm sure, location-based that are in Spanish all the time.
Yeah, I do too. Quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's what I assume it is. I'm like, well, there's probably a lot of people around me searching in Spanish.
Yeah.
So I thought that's what this
honestly,
was.
I don't give a shit. Right. Well, that's why when it came on and I was like, oh, because there was no subtitles. And I'm like, oh, I can't watch this because I don't know Spanish, And then I was like, well, let me see if there's subtitles, because if so, fine, And then, like I said, I saw when it said language and I was like, I can switch. Like, why isn't English default on here? That's weird, because most things, if they do have another language, English is the default.
Well, I mean, it says, because I'm not clicking on it, but the IMDb synopsis is it's created by Miguel Esteban. So maybe he's like, I want it in Spanish.
Could be, yeah. I'll say this, though. The dub on it is actually pretty good. Like the character actors they got for the voices are actually really good. Whereas, sometimes the dub works sketchy, it's like, or it's over the top or whatever. But I actually feel like they put some effort into like, hey, we really want to capture these characters, not just have random people read these lines, But it was kind of a fun little show. It's a little beat you over the head with it's some of the messages in it, but dude, there's one episode, how like certain shows we're going to talk about Creature Commandos a little bit here, right? And I know you've seen the Weasel episode, right? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like that comes, I'm not going to really give anything away, but it hits, and you're not going to see it coming watching the show, because it's all like, dick and fart jokes and over the top violence. Then that episode hits and you're like, whoa. So this show has one of those too, toward the end, where the main character Stan is talking with Mephisto, who's a cat in this, and he's asking him about hell, and he's like, it's complicated. And then the whole episode is about this woman who basically is putting off answering a phone call from the hospital about whether or not she has cancer and all this. And basically the whole episode is just everything that can go wrong for her goes wrong. And then at one point it finally clicks in her head that she's dead and she's in hell.
That's a fun little...
I'm telling you, even if you don't watch any more of the episode or the show, you don't need to really see any of the show to watch this episode, but man, it hits. And it's a really, like, I think everyone can identify it, because we all have that Groundhog Day feeling. You get up, you blah, 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 you go to work sucks, blah, 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 right? And that's kind of what it is. But then, like, other stuff happens, and it just feels like her day just keeps getting worse and worse.
I mean, we watched a movie called Perfect Days, I think. And it's a Japanese movie. Speaking of foreign films.
Yeah. Well, I watched plenty of foreign stuff this week.
And it's kind of along the same lines. I don't want to give it away, but it's about a guy in Japan who he's a janitor. He cleans public bathrooms, but he loves it. Like, but you have to watch it because you're.
What service is it on?
We watched it on Hulu, I think.
Okay. I just want to know.
So I think we watched it on Perfect Days. And honestly, I mean, it's a subtitled movie, but it's almost like watching
that's fine.
art. There's very little dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
It's very well shot,
okay.
but it's a very interesting movie, and it kind of hits in a weird way towards the end when you're like, oh, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, I recommend it. 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. There you go.
That's pretty strong. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's why when I saw that Poor Devil, I was like, I was just looking for something to watch because I had caught up on Creature Commandos. And then I was like, well, you know how it is. You already got the service open. You're like, oh, let's see what else is on here. And I'm just skipping through, and I saw that. I'm like, let's see how this is. You know, I kind of like some of these shows that are like, oh, what was that called? Was it Lucy the Devil or Lucy Daughter of the Devil? I don't know if you remember. It was on Adult Swim years ago. Like or like Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. I love the ones where they kind of take hell and kind of play with the concept a little bit and have fun with the characters, right? So that's why I was like, what the hell? I'll give this a try. And you know, it was it very much reminded you in ways of you know, in Rudolph, how Hermie, you know, it's like, you have to be an elf, and he's like, but I want to be a dentist, you know. And that's basically Stan in this. Is, you know, his dad's like, you have to unleash holy hell when you're 666 days old or whatever, or weeks old, whatever it is. And you know, Stan's like, but I want to sing and dance, you know.
But Father, I want to sing.
Yeah.
No,
swinging. Exactly, dude. That actually is a better analogy. Yeah. So it's a fun show though. So you know, short episodes, all that kind of stuff. Mephisto's that, you know, like on all of those shows, there's always that like alcoholic, crusty character, and that's Mephisto in this. Basically, he's just, you know, cold and abrasive, but also, you know, you see he's got a little bit of heart off and on, but he's, you know, also very much trying to, like in the first episode, I think he's trying to like buy souls. So
souls are delicious, Brian. Why wouldn't you want to buy them?
I've heard. Yeah. So I watched all sorts of stuff over this time. Well, real quick, Creature Commandos. So I don't like giving stuff away from the show because people just should watch it because it's a blast.
I agree.
Are you all the way caught up?
We watched episode 6, the one with the whores.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think that's the one. Did you see the episode where Dr. Phosphorus fights a tank?
Yes.
Dude, first of all, one of my favorite things about anything James Gunn produced is, you know, remember how people were always like, oh my God, Quentin Tarantino always picks the perfect soundtrack for his movies. Forget him, James Gunn.
There has been so much Gogol Bordello in this show.
There has. But it's so appropriate.
Yeah, given the country it takes place in, and
Yep. And it hits, man. Like it's so fun. It reminds me so much of back when I used to put on like opera music and then go commit atrocities in GTA 3. You know, like that's what it reminds me of, is when you just start doing something that kind of doesn't fit the music, but also the music makes it perfect at the same time. But anyways, dude, that scene where he's just, Dr. Phosphorus just takes his coat and pants off, the tank's coming at him, and he just flips them off and walks through the tank, like literally sticking his middle fingers right through the guy's faces. Oh my God, I laughed so hard. Just the absurdity of that, you know. Oh man. Although I gotta say, these last few episodes, it's like, you know, where's G.I. Robot?
I know. I miss G.I. Robot.
I'm missing him. Yeah. But that show is, I'm gonna be so sad. It's probably 8 episodes, I'm guessing. It feels like
it's wrapping
we're probably up. Yeah, it's like we're probably almost done with the first season, and it makes me sad because, although in fairness, in like 1 or 2 weeks, I think the new season of Harley Quinn.
I still haven't watched the second season.
So oh my God, what are you doing? You haven't watched Kite Man either, probably then. Oh my God.
Yeah, I need to get on that.
So much. Missed so much.
So much.
So here's something I watched that I did not think I was going to watch ever in my life.
Let me guess.
You'll never guess it.
Give me one.
All right,
give me a genre.
I'll give you a couple guesses. Go ahead. It's a
Christmas movie. You say you've never watched it. You didn't think you ever would?
Never thought I would ever watch it. Yeah.
Christmas in Connecticut. Damn it.
No.
All right, what do you got?
The Christmas Story Christmas.
Oh.
The sequel to Christmas Story.
Okay.
I never thought I would watch it. It happened to be on. And, you know, my mom just left it on. And at first I was like,
boo.
You know, like, you know, because, right? I got to say, they tried really hard to bring a lot of elements from the original into this one. Like, there's a lot of kind of things to remind you of jokes and stuff from the first one. And like the Santa with the slide kind of situation is back. And, you know, they did a lot of things to, you know, make sure you understand this is still the same universe and whatever. And there's actually a few good jokes in it. Overall, it's not a great movie, but I just never thought I would ever watch it because I was just very much against the idea of them making
I
it
think
to
it shouldn't
begin
even
with,
exist. It's an abomination.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah. Like I said, it was all right. And I mean, you know, it's got a nice warm message in it, you know, about his dad and stuff and whatever. You know, it's a typical schmoozy movie to where everything wraps up neatly at the end because, you know, it's how it should be. Although aside from him getting the gun in the first one, does it wrap up in a tidy bow? I don't feel like it kind of does.
It wraps up with the dogs next door eating their dinner and them going out and getting Chinese food. And that's how the movie ends, basically. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like jokes like that come back. Like the neighbors still have dogs that when Ralphie's like walking up his driveway, the dogs are attacking him. You know, so they carry the dog joke forward. And, you know, it's like I appreciate little touches like that because that was one of my favorite gags in the first one was every time his dad comes home, those dogs not attack
just
him, but you know, they want to be around him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love every time he goes outside, the dog, you just hear him sometimes. You don't even see it. It's like, God damn dog. Or, well, he doesn't cuss, but he's like, God damn dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me.
So, yeah. But yeah, never thought I'd end up watching that. Probably will never watch it again, though. I'll tell you that.
One and done. Nothing wrong with that.
Let's see. Let's see. What else? Oh, because I know you wanted to talk about this a little bit last time. I watched the first part of Watchmen animated.
Yes.
Dude, you weren't kidding, man. That is
right. The pirate stuff.
Oh, I can't believe they gave that the full treatment. And you know the thing is, in the book, it did, but it didn't feel part of continuity.
But the way they did it in the show,
it really
ties in so nice.
And I was like, I kind of feel like I don't know, maybe this is blasphemy. I feel like it did a better job of it than the book did. Because I remember the first time I read it, that was hard to get through.
Same. I was like, what is happening? My young brain couldn't wrap my head around what was going on.
The last time, a few years ago when I read it again, I was like, oh, it clicks more now. How it's actually describing what's going on
in real life through this comic book.
Right. But I loved what the movie could do that the book can't do is it can jump back and forth really easy. You know, the jump cuts are so much, you know, because in the book, you literally have to have a panel of this, a panel of that, and it doesn't hit the same. So,
I was so impressed when that popped up. Because I was on the couch going, if they're going to do the thing, I hope they do. I hope they do it soon because it's coming up. Yeah. And then it started. I was like, oh my God, they did it.
Yeah, I know. And because when I saw that, I was like, this has to be what Tony was talking about. I was
it's like, so well done.
I was like, everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, there's no other surprises really. Everything else is pretty, as far as I can remember, true to the book. I don't really remember anything.
But yeah, that
changed.
Kid reading the pirate comic with what's going on around him in the universe.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was so well done. Yeah.
It was very well done. I can't wait to watch that. I mean, it's so funny because I've read the book a bunch of times. I've seen the movie, blah, 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 right? But it's like, I still can't wait to watch it.
Like, I really feel like
part of it.
If you don't want to slog through reading Watchmen, this is it for you.
You know, I think you're right. because it really
it's like
is
listening.
like
It's like an audio
spot
book,
on.
basically, but it's animated.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I don't, like I said, I don't really feel like they cut anything, or if they did, I didn't really miss
Nothing
anything.
I remember, at least.
Although, in fairness, it's been about 5
mean,
years since I read the book the last
Where is
time.
it? I think it's on the bookshelf upstairs. It's like I have the graphic novel still. I could easily flip it open and just watch it. And
right. I've got one right here, actually. I actually just realized the other day I have 2 copies
Who
of
watches
it,
Watchmen? Clearly, Brian.
I know. Yeah, clearly. Yeah. I don't even know. You know what it is probably is I probably loaned one out to somebody, probably didn't think I was getting it back, probably bought another one, then got it back. Because it's one of those books that I've loaned out. I think I'm on this. I probably, one of these copies is probably like my 3rd or 4th copy, because I used to loan it out a lot. Because, a lot of people are like, I don't know about comic books. And I'm like, read this.
You want some mature comic books action? Here you go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That and Mouse. Yes. I used to loan Mouse out because I had 2. I don't know if you remember. I had the like complete Mouse where it had both books in one, and that was my copy. Then I had the other ones that were the soft covers that I would loan out to people because just in case I didn't get it back.
It's true. Have you seen those little embossing machines that you can like this book belongs to?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
I love that.
Hell
yeah, dude. Hell yeah. All right,
have you ever, in your trials and tribulations as a human, bought something and it was so discounted you feel like you stole it?
Yeah, a bunch of times actually, because there's been quite a few times I've bought stuff. I used to buy stuff off and on at like Dollar General, because sometimes they put stuff on like penny sale, and I've seen a list online and gone and bought like one time I bought like 2 boxes of like Reese's peanut butter cups for each package was a penny, yeah. And I'm like, I just bought all they had because it was like, what, like 20
why
cents?
wouldn't you?
Right?
Yeah, no, I last week, I think it was after Christmas, when the cold snap happened, I was like, I need to get some fucking slippers,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I kept saying it during December, hoping Santa would bring them. Santa did not.
Right. Man, Santa's not picking up what you're putting down.
So I was like, well, all right.
You have to be less subtle next year. Just tape up pictures everywhere. Or what did Ralphie do? He like opened up the catalog
on his mom's ad in the middle of the like section of paper she likes or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, whatever. I'm going to go to Meijer and I'm going to find some slippers. I was originally going to go Kohl's, but I had to do some other stuff. So I'm like, fuck it. They have shoes. I could pick up a couple odds and ends of food we need for New Year's, get my slippers.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, their slipper selection was terrible. Like, they don't have very many men's slippers. Everything I was looking at, I hated the styles, or they were way too small. Right? And then I saw another section. And I'm like, oh, here's some more slippers. All these slippers are like $35, $45. And I'm like, I don't want to spend as much on slippers.
Yeah,
but I'm like,
right?
but my tootsies are so cold at home. And I was like, fuck it. I got some Christmas money. I guess I'll buy $35 slippers.
Right.
Got up some other stuff. I went and cashed out, and as soon as I scanned the barcode, it just said men's slipper, $12.99. I went, okay.
Yeah, $12.99 is more what you're looking to spend.
I don't know what happened. I don't care.
Yeah, probably some.
I had
stuff.
nothing like the tag on the shoes and the tag on the rack.
Yeah,
both said $35. So I don't know what happened.
Whatever.
But I will accept this. Spin of the wheel of fate.
Hell yeah, dude. I lucked into a nice pair of slippers a couple years ago because Jim's family bought them for him, and he tried them on, and he didn't. Just the way they fit, he didn't like them, and he was like, he's like, "Do you have slippers?" And I was like, "No." And the floors in these places, like I live, there's no insulation under us, so the floors get cold.
That's my
sometimes.
Middle level. No insulation above. That's why the basement's cold.
Right. Where I'm sitting now, I've got like, a little like carpet sample kind of thing down.
Dude, the little thing you used to sit on and watch videos on in kindergarten. Hell yeah, carpet square.
little carpet square, yeah. But yeah, he gave them to me. I tried them on, and I'm like, they're a little snug, but man, are they warm. And it's not often I need that, but man, when I do,
Oh yeah, he's like, I'm
perfect.
wearing them right now.
And they were like
These things
$50
rule.
slippers. Yeah. Yeah, his family bought him. Like I said, I think they were $40 or $50 slippers. I mean, they're nice slippers.
Easy
but
slippers.
I wear them. Yeah, like through the winter, I'll wear them 4 times. They'll probably last me the rest of my life.
Oh,
you know?
Speaking of slippers, I'm tying. I'm like Charlie with the red strings.
Oh boy.
Go to Kroger, right?
Yeah.
I don't know when's the last time you've been to Kroger by me. And
last time I was at that one was
that's
when
hilarious.
I was with.
Well, you know they got those like brick pillars out front.
Funyuns. Yeah. Mm.
I'm walking up to this Kroger. I think it's New Year's Eve-ish. It might have been the same day I got my slippers, Brian. I don't know.
Oh man, you were like walking on clouds.
Speaking of clouds, that's all I could see coming behind this pillar was just a cloud of vape, right? And I was like, what the fuck? And out of the corner of my eyes, just like this dark figure. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Go inside. I'm shopping around. You know how in the the veggie section of Kroger's, they have all the salad fixins, but there's a bunch of like nuts there too.
Yeah.
There's this dude. I come around the corner. There's this dude, and he's got like long hair. It's all tied back. He's got like a top knot, sunglasses. He's wearing all black. He's got all this weird silver jewelry. And he's just on his hands and knees, and he's just scooping bags of nuts out, loading up his cart with all these nuts. And I'm like,
oh, wow,
okay, that's fucking weird. And I keep moving.
Like, my first thought would be like, God, how much money are you going to spend?
I run into him again. Now his cart is full of nuts and as much Dr. Pepper as he can put in it.
Wait, does he think if you put nuts in Dr. Pepper, it's like Mentos
I don't
and
know.
Diet Coke?
So, because once again,
I just picture him for the next year only living on nuts.
Like,
and
dude, like,
Dr.
he was in the aisle and I was going down like the main aisle, cuts through the middle. And I was like, I got to do a lap and check out this dude's cart. Right. So I cut over and he was gone. I couldn't find him. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I run into him again as we're leaving. I finally got full view of this majestic creature. And I don't know, he's probably about as tall as he was wide. Big dude. And not in like a healthy way, you know?
Yeah, right.
And as soon, because he was just in front of me as we were walking out of Kroger, as soon as he breached that doorway, vape clouds. Just like he's like a steam engine. Right? And then I kind of speed up until I can kind of get a look at him. And this dude is wearing black slippers, black socks, black pajama pants. He's got on a sweatshirt material trench coat. And then underneath that, he's wearing a black bathrobe and a black shirt.
Oh, love it. See, one of my favorite things is when you see somebody in the full bathrobe look.
I think he just wore it because it's long and black. Literally
right. I just love seeing the other because it's like, this is don't give a fuck.
It was insane to me, dude.
But wow. He just put on everything black in his house.
Yeah, like
basically.
I think that's gig because he had on like weird silver jewelry and his fucking
had
vampire
his
hair
and
like he could have been on Gangle's crew.
That's wow. Well, maybe he was getting loaded up to go see Nosferatu. You know,
it was weird, dude. Like you see some weird shit at the grocery store.
Needed to see that dong. Yeah, that's why I always love like when I'm in line. I love looking at the carts of the people in front of me. Because I always love just kind of like looking at what they're buying, you know, because sometimes you're like, oh, that's their whole dinner. Like, oh, there's fajitas fixins, you know, but then there's also that time where it's like one of this, one of that. And you're like, I bet they went to the store yesterday and they forgot some stuff. Like this is what they have, or it's like, you know, let's have whatever tonight. And they just need one green pepper or one thing of KY.
This guy is nuts and Dr. Pepper.
See, that's the ones where you'd like to like follow him home and get the story.
Well, especially when I got to look at the guy. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here?
Maybe he was going to throw a party. You know, maybe he needed some nuts to lay out and Dr. Pepper's.
It was around New Year's time. Maybe he was doing a seance or something.
Yeah.
Like all the nuts and Dr. Pepper you can eat. We're going to contact the dead tonight.
Yeah. That is a weird.
It was weird, man.
There was a guy, I was at Kroger earlier today. There's a guy that, like, every time I saw him, he was just like almost like in a trance, staring at something, like whatever aisle he was on. He was just staring. I saw him 6 times. He had nothing in his hands. And I'm like, either this guy's like the worst secret shopper ever, because he's so obvious, right? Or
maybe he was just high as fuck.
Also possible, right? So when I leave, I see him walking out, and he's got like a box of Triscuits. That's all he has.
I could like, see this.
This dude wasn't even near the. But it was like, this dude wasn't even near the cracker aisle the whole time I saw him. Anytime I saw him, he wasn't near that area.
I could see this though. He's just staring, like going, what do I want to snack on?
Well, it was like, dude, he was down the Rubbermaid and storage container aisle, just staring at the containers. And then the next time I saw him, he was where the hell was he? Oh, he was over by the milk, and he was just staring at the milks.
Maybe he's like, think of all the milk I could put in that Rubbermaid I just looked at.
Probably. You know, if I had seen him down the cereal aisle, everything would have tied together.
I never thought about eating cereal out of a Rubbermaid. Now we're talking.
Yeah. I used to have a big like mixing bowl that I used to eat cereal out of.
Like the fucking bowl from Friday.
Because I used to eat like 2 bowls at a time. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Well, so I remember when I was a kid, I remember one of the math tests we had, and one of the questions was like, how much milk do you use in a bowl of cereal? And I put like a quart, is because the options were like, you know, a cup, a quart, blah, blah. And I picked a quart. And the teacher like read it out loud and made fun of me to the class. And in my head, I'm just like, fuck you. That's how much milk I probably use. Because I eat like giant bowls of cereal.
You don't know how I eat cereal.
Yeah. Like I just open the box and pour the milk in. It's so funny because, I mean, dude, I'm serious. That was probably in 3rd or 4th grade. And I remember it clearly.
Burned in your memory.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, for a math question,
in hell at this point.
That's too subjective.
Right. Which in fairness, obviously they want the suggested, which is a cup of milk, right? But I didn't know that. I'd ever looked, you know, when I'm in 3rd or 4th grade, like I ever looked at the side of the box for the recommended milk amount.
Who does that? You know? All I know is my cereal better not be dry. If it's dry, I did use enough milk.
Have a lot of... Right, exactly. And I need to put more of a quart of milk in here.
Yeah, fuck that bitch. Let's go find her, beat her up.
I know,
like,
right?
Bitch, that's remember quart of milk? Hit her with a milk bottle.
Yeah.
What is happening? She's probably like 97. I don't understand.
Beating her with milk bottles.
2 men in a retirement home.
It turns into like that Stone Cold versus Booker T grocery store match. Got milk and smashing the gallon of milk over
yes,
her
can
head.
I help you, gentlemen? Oh, we're just here to visit our Nana. Oh, yeah, of course.
We've each got like 4 gallons of milk in our hands. What's with all the milk?
Exactly.
Mind your business.
What's up, Mrs. Richards? You remember me? I don't remember anything. My brain's disintegrating as we speak.
Yeah. Like, well, if it wasn't, it's going to.
Milk to the
head. Oh, shit. Still burns me to this day. Because if I have a bowl of cereal, I still probably have a double bowl. And I probably don't use a quart of milk, but it's probably closer to a quart than it is a cup. Enough. You know? I mean, in fairness. That's what, like you said, it was like, you know, subjectively. In my head, it was just like, I even said to her, and I was like, you know, you should see the bowl of cereal. Like, if it was now, I'd be like, bitch, here's my bowl of cereal on my phone and show her.
What the fuck, like, huh?
Yeah. Like, when I fix my bowl of cereal tomorrow, I will send you, I will record it and show you what it looks like. And I'll measure how much milk I put in there.
Damn right.
Like, this looks like enough, and we'll measure it and see how close to a quart it is.
Just drop your dong into it.
I mean, that's what you always do with your cereal, right?
Got Chris in the boat, right?
Yep.
Come on now.
I think you're supposed to do that before you sail, aren't you?
I assume more luck. More luck, more better.
More luck for your Lucky Charms, yeah. Oh, man. Let's see. What else? Oh, I watched season 2 of Squid Game this week. And, you know, it's interesting because, no spoilers, but it feels kind of like they took a 15 episode season and just cut it in half and said this is season 2. But it also isn't.
Gotcha.
Right? Like where they end it makes sense, but also it kind of feel, you know how like TV shows will do the Christmas break, basically. That's more of what it feels like, but it was good. It was still pretty good. Because I was wondering about, you've seen this first season, right? No?
Nope,
oh,
never watched it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyways, well, we're, they the way that they continue the story makes sense. It didn't feel like a big stretch or anything. So I was quite happy with that. Although in fairness, there's like a big turn kind of twist in the thing. And I kind of saw it. Yeah, I kind of saw it come a mile away, but
not a good twist.
Whatever, I will say this though, like, the concept.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Like with the characters, like there's games and then people die, right? Like when you're watching season 1 and you watch them play red light, green light, and you're like, what the hell? And then the first time somebody, moves on red light and then they get shot, you're like, what the fuck am I watching? And it just goes on from there, right? All the games, if you break the rules, you die, basically. And so there's no surprise in this season like that because you already expect it. Right. So that it does kind of take a step down because I think part of the first season was like, holy shit, because they kind of elevate it through the season. Whereas in this season, they can't, like I said, before the contestants know,
right.
In season 1, you're finding out at the same time they do. So, but whatever. It was still really good though. I enjoyed it. So like I said, I watched quite a bit of porn stuff this week because between that and the Poor Devil, and there was something else I watched that was in subtitles, I think, too. So I watched the new season of What If.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is the final season, apparently. And I gotta say, honestly, I'm kind of glad because that show it delivered on a couple of episodes what I really wanted from it. What I wanted from What If was the feeling when we were kids and we went to the comic store and we saw an issue of it and we're like, oh my God, what if Wolverine was king of the vampires?
What if
or whatever.
Aunt May got bit by a spider? Holy shit.
Yeah, right. That's what I wanted. I just wanted fun, wacky ass stories. And instead they were like, let's play in the multiverse and tie it to the Marvel Cinematic. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like by the end of the series, you're kind of like, I don't care. Like literally the last season is more about like, I don't know, them trying to save the Watcher and all the, it's like, I don't know, man. It's just really, I watched it all, but I was very much like, by the end of it. Like when they did the Marvel Zombies episode, I was like, yes, this is cool. This is something I didn't think that they'd really do. And I was hoping maybe at least a couple times a season, maybe they just throw in one of those other, like the episode where like Thor throws like this epic party. It's kind of fun and all this, but then like an episode in this season is that basically the Darcy character that's been in a bunch of the Marvel stuff, it's Kat Dennings character, her and Howard the Duck become a couple, and it's the one episode's about how like special their kid is, and you're like, why do I care about this? And then a few episodes later she's in another, and then you're like, oh, okay, I see, she's a big part of this, so that's why that episode needed to happen. But it was like, I didn't need that show to be like, I didn't need each episode to kind of move the story forward. It's like every episode could have been a standalone and just been something wacky.
There's that
and I would have been
show
happy.
on Amazon I want to watch called Secret Levels, I think.
Yes, I haven't watched
I mean,
it
that's
yet,
from what I understand, they're all standalone. That's how it should be.
See,
man.
Yeah. I love anthology shows like that, to where you can just play around, have fun, and that's really when they announce What If. That's what because you remember we talked about it. We were both kind of like, all right,
fun and cool finally.
And there's elements in it, but this, I don't know, man. I almost feel like they should just skip the season. I just, for the most part, I'm just like, who cares?
Fair enough.
It's like, okay, great. Captain Carter and her girl crew, like
girl
all
power.
Season, basically are. I mean, that's really what it kind of was by the end. It's like they saved the Watcher from the other Watchers because the other Watchers are like, hey, this asshole keeps like interfering. Like he's supposed to just, watch him beat off like we do. He's not supposed to get involved.
Yeah. Exactly. He's supposed to contribute to the space jizz. So,
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest for anybody listening. If you haven't watched the last season, like I don't know that you need to. So, unless you're just kind of like me, to where partway through I was like, I'm really not that interested, but I'm just gonna finish it. Kind of like the Watcher sometimes. Yeah, I'm not really interested, but I got to finish.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I had you watch the Spider-Man animated, or the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It's called, because Cheeto actually sent the link to that to me. Because they're doing a new animated series on Disney Plus, and it's funny because like every few years, it's like, here's the new animated Spider-Man. It's kind of like Ninja Turtles. Like every 5 years, they're like, here's the new one. But every time I'm like, all right, I'm in.
I mean, you're not wrong, right?
Like even watching that, I'm like, it looks fun. It looks like I'm in. I love how I almost wish, like at the end of the preview, they show him in like a cool suit, and part of me is almost like, I almost wish they didn't do that. I wish they would have left that for the show.
I like the style because it looks like a comic book. It's cool.
Yeah. Yep. It feels kind of a little more like 70s, early 80s Spider-Man style. Than more current and stuff, which I think is kind of cool and but not corny.
It just has a retro feel to it.
Yeah. But I loved how it showed, it starts with him swinging around in like that homemade costume. I love that, they kind of were doing that for a little while. I was like, I think it would have been really cool to do that for the whole season. And then, and maybe in the last episode, it's like, but
oh shit, you got cool a suit costume now, bud. Yeah.
Yeah, for season 2, but whatever.
No, it looks entertaining.
Kind of like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, looks fun. I'm definitely in because it's Spider-Man. I'm a nut for Spider-Man anyway, so it's hard to get, especially animated ones, because there's been quite a few that I kind of liked. So, I mean, unless it's like that, was it that one that's like Spider-Man and Friends that's out now for like little kids?
I mean, you never know. It might still be cool.
It might still be cool. I haven't watched it yet. I mean, it's not that I'm against it, because I've watched plenty of those shows where it's like, oh God, what was it? Superhero Squad, where that was clearly built for little kids. You can just tell watching the show how like there's nothing over the top violent or offensive, or, you're like, yeah, this is built for like 6-year-olds. Just like I was watching when I was one of the episodes of Creature Commandos I was watching, I always look to see what the rating thing pops up as. In the one episode I watch, it's basically like, violence, coarse language, something else. And then the next episode, it just says smoking.
Like, okay. That's a serious downgrade.
This is not. Yeah, I was like, this is also not a show for children. Why is there a warning about smoking?
Well, we can't have the kids smoking, Brian.
Right. But it's like a mature rated title. They shouldn't be watching it to begin with.
You're not wrong.
Right? I'm pretty sure a lot of the stuff in that show is going to go right over their head.
We'll figure it out. So kids have the googs now for reasons like this.
One last thing about that show is David Harbour as Frankenstein.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Great. All that casting in the whole show is great, but he's really kind of come on in the last couple episodes.
He's like, have you seen the movie Titanic? Not many people have watched it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That. Yep. Oh man. So yeah, I think that's everything I freaking watched this week.
We're closing in over an hour already.
Yeah, I got 2 more things to talk about. And then I'm done.
All right, what you
got? So first of all, I've in all my years of ordering from Amazon, I've only had one issue, right? There was one time I ordered something, I got a box from them, and it was just this random shit. I had no idea. And I'm like, I didn't order any of this stuff. So I back then called them, and was like, hey, I don't know what's here, but I didn't order this. I was supposed to get this book. And they're, hey, no problem. We'll send you another one. I'm like, okay, well, what do I do with this? You know, how do I return it? And they're like, I don't worry about it. Like, they just,
certain
I was like,
items
okay,
they just
whatever.
don't give a shit about. Yeah.
They don't care, right? So that was the only issue I've ever had in all my years of ordering from Amazon, right? So there was something that I ordered, which I can't divulge because it was a Christmas gift for a certain someone who might be on the podcast.
Who could that be? Seamus Pug,
and it was late
clearly.
to begin with. Right. Yeah, it was a new hat for him. But it was late because it shipped late. So I was like, well, whatever, you know. But then on top of it, I get the day it comes in, my mom's like, hey, you got an envelope here. And she goes, but there's nothing in it. And I go, what do you mean there's nothing in it? And I was thinking back, remember a couple years ago when someone sent me, was it a Spotify gift card or something like that? And I literally, it felt like there was nothing in it until you reach in and you're like, oh, there's a gift card, right? So I thought maybe it was something like that. And I look at it, I'm like, no, this envelope was never sealed. And there's nothing in this. Literally got an empty package that had never been sealed. Because, you know, how like they'll have the thing where you like peel the strip off and fold it over. Strip wasn't even peeled off. So it was never sealed. And I was like, okay. So, you know, I called Amazon because when I looked online, there wasn't really a good option for what my scenario was. Because it was
Tribe Called Quest.
Well, yeah, because everything was like, oh, you have to send back the. I'm like, there's nothing to send back. I can send you an empty envelope.
What do you think of them apples?
It doesn't really. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm gonna call. I call, and you know, the woman's like, no problem, and she goes, wait, there was nothing. I was like, there's nothing in there. I told her, I said, I can send you pictures of the envelope. It is, I said, with your label on the outside. I said, there's literally, you can see it's never been sealed. There was no tape across it, nothing. And she goes, oh my gosh, you know, so they're, you know, supposed to be sending me another one of that. So then for some reason, we've got like a fly infestation.
That's weird.
We cannot freaking get rid of. I know. We had the same thing last year around this time of year, but it wasn't that bad. It was just a few flies. This year, dude, I swear, in the last 4 days, I probably killed 40 flies.
Did something like get hit by a car and crawl underneath your guys' spot or something?
That's the only thing I can think of is something like that, or that they've kind of nested
as cold
somewhere.
As it is though outside.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, is that maybe that's what they've done though, is like come inside, you know, but I don't know. But in like the bathroom, you know, the one that's right off my bedroom, every day I get up, there's at least 10 of them in there. I've been murdering so many. It took me back to our youth.
Glory days.
Oh, dude, it's the sequel.
Yes.
You know, and I've got this spray that I keep spraying and killing them, and you know, I get rid of them, and then the next day I get up, and there they are again.
Wild, dude.
So I ordered one of these things that's like a blue light that you like plug in, and it's basically got like a fly strip kind of thing on the back of it.
Oh yeah,
I know to attract them, and then right. So I got one of those. When it came in 2 days after this other came empty, I get it. I open the package and I'm like, what the fuck? And I could tell someone had like used packing tape and reclosed the package. It had clearly been opened before. Like not the package from Amazon, but the box of the item, right? It's supposed to have these 2 cards in there that like you plug the thing in, you slide a card in it, and
like
that's
a
what
sticky
catches
card
the
or
thing.
whatever.
Then you're supposed to have, right, and then you have like one extra, right? Had none inside of it. And I'm like, clearly, and it, you know, I'm like, and someone tore the package open, basically. I'm like, you can clearly tell someone just took the cards and probably returned it. So, or used them and then returned it, you know? So I contact them again, and I'm like, you know, this sucks because I know in their returns process, there was actually a thing that's basically like, have you returned more than 3 items in the last X amount of time? And I'm like, cool. So now within 2 days, I have 2 returns.
I'm on a list.
Yeah, basically. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, so I get the replacement for that thing today, and it was fine. But I was like, so now I got to, you know, take the other over to a UPS store to return it. But I was like, come on, man, what the hell? Like, first of all, it pissed me off on that one because it was like somebody didn't look this, like someone returned this probably. And when it got returned, the person who, whatever, dealt with that didn't look to make sure it was complete before just forwarding it back on to somebody else. You know, it's like, God damn. So Yeah. So here's the real kicker for the week. So the other night, I'm rapping. I had done some eBay stuff on my computer, and I'm like, I was gonna go in, do my daily GTA shit, and then watch some TV. Go into the bathroom, do what I need to do. Get out of the bathroom. Can't. Door's stuck.
Huh.
Like when you turn the doorknob, how the latch kind of comes in.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you let go of it, it goes out, and that's what keeps the door shut. Essentially,
door
right?
physics or whatever.
Well, for some reason, that piece would not retract when you turn the door handle. So when you go to pull, it's blocked, like it's shut. It's almost like the door's locked, but it wasn't locked. But I could not get that off of there. And I mean, I'm trying with everything I got, and it won't budge. And I'm like, man, because my mom had already gone to sleep, and I'm like, fuck, it's like 4 in the morning. So I just start beating the fuck out of the door, and she wakes up and she's like, what's going on? I tell her, and I was like, the only thing I can think of is to take the pins out, and literally take the
it
door
right off its hinges.
Well, here's the problem: the way that the hinges hit. There was some gunk in there or whatever, and they were stuck. Nice. The bottom ones were fine, but the top ones I could not get apart. So she calls my brother, who was at work, and he goes, well, take a book and just basically beat the fuck out of the door till the hinges pop so you can get out, And I mean, I had already taken the door handle off too, hoping that maybe I could, figure out a way to get that piece to come in and then just get the door open, and I couldn't. So she's hitting the door, and and I'm in a small bathroom. So that concussive sound, like she's doing it, and I can't cover my ears because I got to hold my hands out in case the door comes in.
Dude, just take it off your head. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to break the door. So I'm like, man, so she's hit, and it's just, and in my head, I just knew what it was. And I was like, she can't hit it hard enough where it needs to be hit. It's like, I need someone stronger to really like gorilla fist it, like, or hit it with like a mallet or something.
A little
like
more
that.
leverage.
Do the old like piece of wood and hit it with a mallet so it spreads it out kind of thing. That way you don't put a hammer through a door.
Or just put a hammer through a door at this point.
She's talking to my brother, and he's telling her something, and finally he's like, you know what? He's like, I'm going to go talk to my boss real quick and see if I can just dip and help you out. Because she's like, I'm at a point, and she had called like my brother-in-law. They didn't answer. She called my sister's boyfriend. He didn't answer. And it's 4 in the morning. It's like, well, I can't call Tony because he ain't going to answer. Like my brother Daryl was asleep. It's like David, has his phone in do not disturb. It's like there's no one else really to call. Our neighbor was at work, because he stays up really late. Otherwise, there would have been a shot. Right. He would have been awake. Or even if he wasn't, I'm sure he would have come over and helped, So my mom was literally like, well, if my brother can't come over, she's like, I'm going to have to call the fire department. Because she's like, I can't get, and in my head, I'm going, I don't want you to have to call the fire department because you have to pay them when they come out,
That's why they have those big rubber boots.
I know
put money in.
Yeah, but it's like, I know, well, no, you put them in their G-strings.
Naturally.
I've seen the calendars. Yeah. I know all it needs is just one good, like, boom on the, the side where the hinges are to basically jar it loose. But then, so my brother is going to come, and she's like, well, I'm going to spray it with some WD-40 from the outside to see if that'll loosen it up. I was like, yeah, actually, that may be very helpful. So we did that. And then we tried again, and it wasn't moving. And I'm like, man, I don't know about this. And in my head, I'm going, I don't know what else we can do without literally breaking the door.
At this point, my leg would have been through that door.
Dude, I was so close, man. And I had pulled so much on the handle that like my hand still hurts from gripping that damn handle and pulling, trying. At one point, I was just fucking pulling for all it was worth, just thinking maybe if it breaks, I can just open the door, and fuck it, we'll put another door up. But Anyways, my brother shows up, walks up, and he goes, "Oh," he's like, "Hey," he's like, "I'm gonna pound on the door." I'm like, "Okay, dude." He boom on that door,
Yeah,
popped
of
right
course.
off. And because I knew that's exactly what it needed. I just, needed somebody who could really hit it, and that's what it was. He boom, and it popped right off. I was like, "Oh, good." I think the WD-40 helped too, because whatever was jamming up those hinges, it slid right out. So I think that was something we should have. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner, but we should have done sooner. But dude, it was a good almost hour of dealing, dude. And I mean, I've got some claustrophobia, but I was fine. I was actually surprised at how calm I stayed, because usually once something gets a little frustrating like that, usually I just blow my top. And like I said, if there had been a hammer in there, I would have put it. It would have been a here's Johnny
yeah,
moment,
exactly right.
I was just the worst part was at the top of the door. If there was enough room, I could have got my fingers there. I probably could have pulled the door. But there's not enough room. I couldn't get my fingers in there without potentially smashing the hell out of my fingers. And I didn't have any sort of what I needed was like a Slim Jim or a crowbar kind of
People
thing.
laugh at me for always having a knife on me.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was. I mean, dude, I was trying all sorts. I was taking a flathead screwdriver, trying to get in between those hinges to see if I could kind of create some space, so that it would come apart. And I mean, I was like looking around the bathroom, like, what can I use in here to maybe get me out of here?
MacGyver in it.
Yeah, like if only I had a lighter.
Got some isopropyl, some cotton balls, about ready to burn these hinges away.
Yep. It was, oh man, it was not a fun night though. Let me tell you, I do not recommend for anyone thinking of getting trapped in their bathroom.
Sounds like a
do not
terrible
recommend.
time.
Yeah. On the upside, if you're going to get trapped somewhere, I mean, at least I had a bathroom.
You could have had bubble bath.
I could have. Well, no, I don't have a bath.
Oh,
I have a shower.
Could have had
so I mean, I still could have just
shower. I guess not as exciting, but it's there.
No, I mean, unless I wanted to sit up on the sink and kind
now we're talking.
of splash around a little bit.
Have a foam party.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other part too. As I looked down at my phone, because that was the other thing I was thinking. I was like, well, if beating on the door doesn't wake my mom up, I'll just start calling the house and be, until she wakes up, basically. And I look at my phone, it was like 10%. And I'm like, oh, boy.
Of course.
And of course, I don't have a charging cable in here.
Why would you? Who charges your phone in the bathroom? Weirdos, that's who.
No, I mean, I could. Yeah. You're having to sit down, you're going to be in there for a while, maybe. No, I haven't. Yeah, that's why I said I was just looking around for any tool I could use, and I'm like, there's nothing in here, because why would you have tools in your bathroom, really? Yeah. Now apparently I need to put a whole utility belt in there with like some explosives and such, just in case. I could stand in the shower, close the door, blow the door off,
or just an axe,
or an axe.
It's a utility tool.
Oh man. I like I said, I mean, I was getting to the point that I was seriously about to be like, hand me a hammer, and I'm just gonna go ham on this door or these hinges until it comes apart.
Yeah, I probably would have charged that thing like a goddamn bull at one point.
Oh, man, see, that was the problem. Was like, if it was the opposite and my mom was trapped in there, I probably could have gotten her out easy. Because I would have done that. If pounding on the door wouldn't have worked, I would have been like, get in the shower, close the door.
Yeah, I'm coming in.
I mean, there's not much room, but I got enough weight behind me. I'm going to just throw everything I have into this door. I'm going head first like I'm Juggernaut, or Rhino, whatever. So anyway, that was, that was
sounds amazing.
Yeah. My brother's going to come over tomorrow and put another one in, I guess, because he was like, do you want me to put that one? I'm like, no.
You mean this piece of shit that trapped me?
Malfunctioned.
Yes, by all means, hook it back up.
Yeah. That's why I told my mom, I said, if it wasn't for like us having little kids that come over occasionally, I would just put like a slide bolt on the door. Because worst case scenario, you unscrew that whole gimmick and you open the door, easy peasy. And from then on, I just keep a screwdriver in the bathroom and problem solved. But with little kids coming over, we don't have although in fairness, really the idea of a little kid being able to lock themselves in the bathroom is a terrible idea, but you need a way for them to latch in there, just so the door shuts for
Yes.
privacy and such. So, yeah.
Quite.
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, good times.
Good, clean fun, huh?
Don't recommend. Do not recommend. Yeah, if there was a way I could just shut it without having to have that potential of that happening again. But in fairness, what I'm going to do is occasionally I'm going to just take WD-40 in there and spray those hinges and make sure they stay nice and lured up.
Yep.
That way, in the event we have to take the door off again, hopefully it'll slide right off. Because, if it wouldn't have been for that being stuck, that would have been super easy. Just, okay, take the pins out, take the door off. Problem solved.
Easy peasy, like you said.
I'm out. Right, yeah. So, anyway, fun.
Huzzah!
Yeah, what a way to send out 2024.
You know who brought in 2024 amazingly?
You mean 2025?
That year. Elmore, Ohio. I've got a good friend of mine who lives in Elmore, and I gave him shit because I'm like, how'd you not let me know this exists? So Elmore is where Tanks Meats is, right?
Okay.
And you know what, Brian? I'm going to have to share my screen with you so you can see this in all its majesty.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just, where is it? Share screen. I wish this was like a hotkey type situation. So in Elmore, Brian, they dropped the sausage for New Year's.
Oh my God, that is obscene.
Yeah, it's a giant lit up sausage that they drop to bring into New Year, and I'm like, why? Like I said, my buddy, his house, you can, like, it's across the rivers, downtown Elmore. I'm like, how the fuck do you not know this exists? or if you did, why didn't you tell me about it?
Just a giant sausage in the air.
And he was like, he's like, I had no idea. He's like, next year, my guy.
Wow. Are they known for sausages there? Like, is there a meat packing? Yeah, Tanks. Duh, you just said that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But that's fascinating.
That's hilarious.
To me. The old sausage drop.
That is pretty obnoxious. Man, yeah.
That's fucking small town America right there, baby.
Yeah. That's way better than dropping a ball.
What if you dropped a sausage and two balls?
I believe at that point you've fully hit
puberty.
You're
right. Yeah, I think you're right.
You're hanging sausage and a couple of balls. Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to just share that with you for New Year's.
Good on them. Right. Yeah, that's way cooler than. Did Toledo drop anything?
They dropped the ball, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing that they were doing anything. I'm sure
our
they did
New Year's
something,
was so chill. I made a shitload of baked pasta, which I learned a lesson. More sauce when it comes to baked pasta. Because I did a layer of Alfredo. I did noodles, then did a layer of tomato. But it's like the pasta just ate all the sauces, and it was still dry.
It just eats it all up. Yep. That's our problem from a couple years ago when we got, sorry for going local, folks, we got Calvino's and we got ziti and we got one that was chicken Alfredo. And that was the same thing, is it's in those big ass foil or tin things, and when you bake it, all the sauce disappears.
I'm going to do that again, but I need to be.
Even if you don't use more, have some for the side, so you can always just ladle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm going to do next time is I'm basically going to make baked Alfredo noodles, and then have the tomato sauce hot on the stove when it comes out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing next time.
That's a good move.
Because it was good.
Dude, I'll tell you,
but it was kind of dry.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we made a bunch of Italian food, a bunch of garlic bread. Kids came over, played a bunch of board games. It was a good time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Nice,
we
chill
just,
New Year's. No sauces dropped, though.
We just, yeah. We didn't do much of anything. We, just turned on the Rockin' Eve, and about 11 o'clock, I was like, I'm gonna order a pizza, and I was like, I'll do it now, so that it's like, man, I hate this because they probably close at midnight, so it's a little last minute, but not quite last minute, So, and I'm like, I'll tip a little nicer, because it's New Year's Eve and all that shit and whatever. When the dude showed up, with the pizza, I'm like, sorry to hit you last minute. And he goes, oh, no worries, dude. He's like, I got 2 more deliveries after you. He goes, and if anyone orders before midnight, he's like, we still have to take it out. I was like, really? He goes, yep. He's like, midnight's our cutoff for deliveries. And I was like, oh, that sucks, because I think they close at midnight. You'd think they would, like, 11:30 would be
close,
the cutoff,
quote unquote.
you know? Yeah. But I was like, oh, that sucks, dude. And I told him, I said, you know, I threw a few extra bucks on there because of New Year's Eve, and he's like, oh, I appreciate it, man. You know, he's a super nice dude, but you know, yeah. So we just ate some za, bro. it's some, because I had a free pizza from Domino's.
There you go.
Yep, just got that and some of those bread bites that they have. Ahead of time, I guess. You know, watch The Rockin' Eve. Most of the time, I'm just like, I don't know who that is. You know,
we just had music going and except playing board games. Yeah.
They need to pull somebody who's like one of the like old MTV VJs from like our youth, and just play music that's like from our generation. That way, we know who the hell everybody is.
That would be nice for a change, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because it's like I know a few. You know, I know quite a few, or at least I know the names.
We sound like old men right now. Just to let you know.
I am, but like Teddy Swim, you know, performed, and my mom's like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, I couldn't pick one song of his. I'm like, whatever song he performed, I'm like, I've heard this song, couldn't tell you the name of the song, no clue of any other song the guy's done, but I know he's a thing. You know,
sounds like trash to me. How about that?
Yeah, that's basically it. You know. But then they had like a little segment with like Fat Joe and Dougie Fresh and Ja Rule and Slick Rick type of thing. And it's this one, I forgot the DJ's name, but it says like he does a thing where it's like a pass the mic thing, and like they each kind of come out and do a little bit, and then they bounce around, and then they get into the, oh God, I forgot the name of the song, but it's the La-Di Dottie who wants the party, you know. And they did each of the bits from that, and it was, you know, that was kind of fun. It was like, I know who all these guys
are. Finally, old Blue Eyes and his crew.
Yeah, basically, I was like, Fat Joe's not fat
That's
anymore.
True, he's just Joe.
Yeah, I mean, he's still big dude, but
no, not like he used to.
Not anywhere near. No, God, no. Yes. Good for him, you know, because that's got to be a way lighter on the knees and shit. But yeah,
we should anyway. Cue to W it up, Brian. We're getting pretty long into two here.
Well, that's what happens when we haven't done a show in 6 weeks.
It's true.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Q with the W. QQ. Like the kitchen.
I love that place.
Oh,
speaking of restaurants, last week we asked you guys, what's a restaurant you know is trash, but it's so good?
I'm gonna guess QQ Kitchen did not make the list.
Not.
I feel like you would go slap somebody if that was the case. Also, I feel like half of Toledo would probably go slap somebody. Because whenever that comes up in the Reddit for Toledo, man, people are always like, yep.
Oh, wait, we got some sharing, too. Let me see if anyone answered on the shares. Oh, okay, yes, indeed. All right, so Kristen, she says Taco Bell. I feel like that's going to be the overwhelming option here.
I feel like Taco Bell is the like national answer for this.
I agree.
Because we all know it's garbage.
It's trash, but it's there.
But it hits.
So here, Joe says White Castle, obviously.
Oh, that's a good answer, too, because I know a lot of people that are big on it, but they know it's just garbage. I can't get over that it's garbage. So I can't stand their food.
Stephanie Menard, she says Taco Bell. It's my favorite terrible food. There you go. Diamond Top Fan Kiki says sometimes with the right influences, Taco Bell is where it hits. Is that influence hunger? Probably.
No, I think she's talking about like when the kids do marijuana.
Hunger. I'm telling you.
Oh, hunger? Okay. I thought that's when you get a Snickers.
I mean that too. Mike Meyer says Red Robin. The quality of their food has taken such a dive over the last few years.
Oh wow, I haven't been there in a long time. So
the last time I was at one was when my coworkers were like, "They built a new Red Robin over here. You guys want to check it out?" And I was like, "Not really," but we went anyway. And wasn't that great?
Yeah.
Diamond Top Fan Big Dev says Outback Steakhouse. That's pretty fair.
Yeah, that's fair. It is fair because there's better steak, and you know, I don't know what else, but it's like I know like when we all used to go there as our like group, it was only because Kelly wanted the margaritas.
I mean, I'm always I'll always fuck with a bloomin' onion. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Me too. In fairness, I think that's probably the place where I've drank the most margarita in my life. Because I don't know if you remember, Kelly used to get like that fishbowl margarita base. It was this huge, it wasn't a fishbowl, but it was a giant margarita that they had. And I don't know how many times she couldn't drink it all. And I would, I'd finish it. So terrible idea.
Valerie, she says Magic Walk.
Oh, that's
especially
a good
for
answer.
Our area.
Because
yes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of time. There's way better Chinese food in the area. But you're just like, you know what? I want, you just hit that Magic Walk.
When we worked at Collector's World, I ate so much Magic Walk.
So many egg rolls. And Magic Walk. You are correct. I mean, it was right across the street. So much like when we had our shop, Golden Dragon. I ate a lot of Golden Dragon Chinese when we were there. But that was decent. I mean, again, I've had better.
For what it was,
decent, So yeah, it hit. And they took
nothing on Instagram. So thanks, guys. Appreciate.
Ooh.
That's all. That's what I got on my end, Brian.
Oh, I guess I should get ready for myself over here. I don't think I got anything on Twitter that I remember seeing, but Cheeto did send one in because he's a good boy this week. Not as good as Charlie.
Who is? Listen to Hobie to find that out.
The goodest boy. Yeah. I know, right?
Spoiler.
But he says Panda Express. He says it's trash Chinese food. I know it's trash. Nothing good or authentic about it, but I will smash this shit Oriental cuisine like it's going to be my last fucking meal. That's actually a pretty good answer because I feel the same way. Because most of the time when you go there, the food's probably been sitting for like 6 hours. But I will say this. There's one thing there that I absolutely love, and it's their the honey sesame chicken. I love that so much.
I don't think I've ever had it.
It's like, I know this isn't authentic. I'm like, I know this isn't authentic Chinese food, but I also don't care.
Funny enough, I had Panda for lunch today because on my lunch break, I had to run out and get salt because we were just about out, you know, and it's cold and freezing. And
oh shit, that kind of
and I don't want Michelle dying on the ramp, so
just tell her tuck and roll down the ramp. That's what the railings are for.
It's like bumper
it's like a
bowling.
Pinball. Yeah, that's right. Keeps you on the lane, baby.
So I ran out and got salt, and I'm like, wow, I'm starving. So I went and did a little Panda, and they had right on their billboard, right on their little sign there. I was like, oh shit, Hot Ones collab. Bourbon chicken. I'm like, I'll try some of that. They're like, we've discontinued the bourbon chicken. I went,
oh, boo.
Okay, well,
I wanted to try that. I was afraid of it being too
I'm sure
hot
it was hot, but I mean, how hot could it be?
Yeah, but their hot's not really
like I got Kung Pao chicken. She's like, it's spicy with peanuts. Is that fine? It's like, bitch, I just tried to order blazing chicken, but yes, it's fine.
I know, right? Yeah.
And it's really not hot at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten the Kung Pao chicken before too, and I'm like, it's a little warm, but it's not hot. And I don't handle hot stuff like you do. And for me, I'm just like, whatever.
But yeah, Panda.
What's your order?
Today, because I always mix it up. It depends on my mood, Brian. Today was a little thing of orange chicken and a Kung Pao chicken with some fried rice, a little crab rangoon on the side.
Oh, okay. So I do half and half. I do half rice, half noodle. And then I do, I always get the honey sesame chicken. The other one I mix up based on, a lot of times I'll be like, I'll get like broccoli beef, mainly because I want the broccoli, kind of situation. But I also like the string bean chicken a decent amount. And there's a couple others. Like the orange chicken's good too. It's funny because they always post on the thing that like, what is it, 1 in every 3 orders or have orange chicken in it, which makes sense because when you look at how much they make, when they make them all up, they make like twice as much orange chicken as they do
I got a guy
else.
I work with that, I don't know if he still does, but for a while there, he worked part-time at Panda in the kitchen. He was actually like, end of the day, if there's food left over, they just chuck it. Like if you take it home, you get fired. Yeah, I was like, that's insane to me. Like you think at least they let you take it home.
Well, you know what that is that it's probably trying to cut down on, like when you go for an all-you-can-eat gimmick and you're like, oh, yeah, can I get another bowl of that? You take like 2 bites. Oh, I'm so full. Can I get a to-go box? And they're just like, because they don't want you doing that, And I bet it's similar in this to where otherwise, some employee might be like, oh, geez, we're out of honey sesame chicken. We should throw some on.
Right.
Oh, look at all this honey sesame chicken that has to go in the trash.
This is weird
now.
to me. He says they just throw it away.
It's still bullshit, though. Man, that's a waste. All right, so Cheeto also says cheesesteak Charlie's, which I've never heard of. He says, I don't get this often, but I will crush a food court cheesesteak. Oh, okay. He says, what kind of meat is that? Who cares? Just cover it in shitty cheese.
Yeah, he's right.
So he's probably like our Steak Escape used to be up here. One of those kind of places. Man, remember we used to go get steak sandwiches all the time from that place.
It's funny, I had to text my mom when we were at Maumee Bay because I got the prime rib dip sandwich. And I bit into it, and I was like, fuck, this. I'm like, I remember eating a sandwich like this as a kid. So I text her, I'm like, did HJ's have a French dip? And he's like, oh, yeah, we use prime rib. I'm like, there you go.
That's so crazy, man. I mean, it makes sense, though. I mean, man.
Oh, yeah, because it's like, as soon as I bit into it, that was my memory. It was like me eating one of these as a kid and being like, oh, my God, this is so good. Because the one thing HJ's was really good about was their prime rib.
Yeah.
And their au jus was fucking incredible.
That's what they were
prime
known
rib
for,
was,
wasn't it?
Oh,
was
yeah,
that prime
for sure.
Rib? Yeah. Because I remember people, that was the big deal in, the big, dining room area was you go get the prime rib and all that shit.
Prime rib in a while. That sounds really good.
I haven't either. Yeah, it does sound good.
Anyway,
so Cheeto's last answer is Olive Garden. He said it's all frozen in microwave trash, pre-packaged, pre-cooked, pre-everything. But damn if that salad and those breadsticks aren't bangers. I agree with him on that, in that the food itself is years ago, I remember, it's so funny because I used to love going there for their chicken marsala or the chicken parm. And a lot of times I'd get I'd get chicken Alfredo and have them put broccoli in it, but I always would end up eating a ton of the salad and the breadsticks, which, by the way, first of all, they sell the salad dressing in stores now, but Aldi has a version of it that's way cheaper and it's the same stuff.
Interesting.
So if you're into Olive Garden dressing, go to Aldi. Well, at least the one I go to.
It's been so long since I ate at Olive Garden because I got so burned out of it in my marriage because her family was all about it.
Oh, yeah.
That I haven't eaten at an Olive Garden in probably 20 years. And so I have no idea.
Yeah. No. Well, and here's the thing, though, right? The thing for me is that once I learned how to cook, I have way less interest going there because I can make a better marsala. I can make a better chicken parm because they almost always overcook it because it's thin, and then they overcook the shit out of the chicken. So it's like a tire. So it's most of the stuff and to get chicken broccoli Alfredo, it's $19. And it's this is the cheapest freaking thing. The chicken's the only thing that costs any money in this dish, So it's I can make that, once I learned to start cooking some of this stuff, chicken marsala is one of those foods that looks fancy as shit on a plate. But once you learn to cook it, you're this is the easiest thing in the world to make. Now, I will say this. There's one exception, which was, I don't know if you remember when you, me, Jen, and Jeannie went to that one joint. Oh, fuck. I forgot where it's at. It's on Central and Talmadge. It was around back of the place. I can't think of the name of it, but it was a place that your mom and Chuck had recommended. And we got in there and we're like, oh my God, everything's really expensive in here.
I don't remember.
And we all were like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to treat it like an experience. And that chicken marsala I got I think you got prime rib, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't remember what Jeannie and Jen got, but I just remember all of us being like, oh my God, this food is amazing. And the chef came out and we talked to her for a while, and it was a whole thing. So when you have it done well, it makes a world of difference.
When you have a fucking grilled cheese done well, it makes a world of difference.
Right, that's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. It's I feel like the chicken marsala I make is good, but it doesn't touch what that chef did. Although in fairness, she probably just drowns it in butter, and that's probably why it's so much better.
I always add butter to pretty much everything I cook, so.
Well, that's what Tony Bourdain said was the secret to everything that you like in a restaurant. Just dump butter on it. So that's what Cheeto got. But I actually need to pause real quick because since we've gone longer, I
Oh,
gotta go
all
so
right.
bad.
Well, fair enough. I guess we'll
So
be right back.
we will. Yep.
your face is huge.
All right, we're back. So.
All right, well, that was a fun little, dude, I thought I was going upstairs because I'm like, I also have to piss. I know we got to wrap the show up. We're going long as fuck, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And all I can hear is the water running. I'm like, God damn it, she's in the shower. She wasn't in the shower yet. I was going to have to go pee in the yard, which my neighbors put in a spotlight that illuminates my whole backyard like it's a prison yard.
Perfect.
Fuckers. It's so annoying. Anywho, so Brian.
Yeah, I bet it is.
You know, on this show, you and I are like, New Year's resolutions are for the week. It's a silly thing to do. It's silly. But I saw...
Yeah. Like, it's one of those where, like, I don't yuck anyone's yum. Like, if they want to do it, whatever, I don't give a shit. It's just, I've never been one to really do it. What we do on the Crazy Life is we pick a word for the year that's kind of like it's basically a resolution. But it's a goal, like... you know, like this is the word I want to put into action for the year coming. And then the next year we look back at what we picked and then kind of go, did we or didn't we?
Yes.
You know, in fact, our next episode, that's
Fair
what
enough.
we'll be doing.
Fair enough.
Which actually reminds me, I got to think of my word for this
Work
year.
on it.
Anyway.
So, but I saw this thing this past week that's an old Norse tradition called Yule boasting. So I'd like to get your Yule boast, and I'll explain what it is, you know, mine, yours, and whoever wants to answer on the internets for us. But it's like, instead of like a resolution where it's like, I'm going to get to the gym and blah, blah, blah. During the solstice around Yule, the Vikings would party it up, get hammered on ale and grog and whatnot. And they would start doing their Yule boasting, talking about like within the next year, they're going to, you know, rob 300 banks, or I'm going to fight Thor, or, you know, just something that's so improbable. But, you know, of course, the next person's got to top it and all that shit. Right?
Oh, geez. Wow.
So, yeah, I think we should have some 2025 Yule boasts. Right?
I like this
it's
idea.
So much better than a resolution to me. Yes.
I agree. Yes. Yeah. I think the problem with resolutions a lot of times ends up being that people feel so concrete with them, and they don't give themselves space.
It's like, I'm going to lose 45 pounds this year.
Yeah. It's like, but at the end of the year, it's like if you lost 30 pounds, I feel like that's still, you know, that's still a win, right? If your goal was to lose weight, it's like,
my favorite is it's usually New Year's Eve. They've been eating nachos for 7 hours watching football, and they're drunk at midnight going, oh, I'm going to lose so much weight starting tomorrow. I swear to God.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the other reason I've never been big on resolutions. Cause like, you know, people would be like, you know, you start hearing people talk about them like early in December. It's like, next year it's like, just do it now. Why are you waiting a month? Just start. I mean, I can understand some of it. Like, obviously we all want to eat a bunch of shit that's terrible for us through Christmas, but you know, although in fairness, I didn't really do that this year. Like nobody really made Christmas goodies this year.
Sorry to hear that.
Like my mom went over to my sister's with my nieces and they made some Christmas cookies, and she brought a few home, and by a few, I mean 6.
Yeah.
You know, like I ate a couple of those. I think that's the only Christmas cookies I've had this year. That's it, man. Well, we did breakfast for
breakfast cookies,
dinner too,
whatever.
So.
Come on.
No. I mean,
I've had cookies and coffee.
I have too. Yeah, that's fair. All right. Anyway, back to your boasting. Do you have one? Because I kind of.
I mean, like right off the rip, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna, you know, punch Jesus right in his dick, knock the crucifix out of his hands. You're not taking that anywhere, there, buddy. I'm gonna do a little jig on it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that is. That's
very boisterous
there. Yeah.
Flip the Romans off, then I'm going to sail into the sunset. That's my boast.
I like that it's one then the other. Like, I feel like for me, I would just do it as I was sailing into the sunset, right? Like, you're just that way they have to keep looking at you. And every time they look, you're still flipping them off.
That's just on my sails. It's just a giant middle finger.
Yeah. No, it's like you're doing it with your hands, and then at a certain point where you know they can't really see you, then you
drop
you
full
run the sail.
Yes.
Yeah, and like
this
guy. Like
there's this set of sails in Sea of Thieves that Michelle has. It's just called party boat sails, and they glow at night and are rainbow colored, and it's just a rat riding a firework, and he's wearing a crown.
Wow, all right,
it's pretty amazing. It looks great.
Seems like not great if you don't want to get detected.
It's party boat. Who cares? Yeah, it's so colorful and fun, and people do attack it, but fuck them. We attack them back.
Yeah, that's fair. Wow, all right. What am I gonna do here, man? You came out swinging hard too. So I was gonna be like pseudo reasonable.
You can't be reasonable. Come on, now it's got.
Yeah, I know.
More unreasonable is what we're looking for.
Right. You're right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're gonna kick the door down and take over the podcasting world this year.
With, like spin kicks and shit.
Yeah, of course,
dude.
I mean, front kicks, whatever we feel like.
Double dragon suits.
Yes. Or we could go River City Ranch.
I kind of like the double dragon suits.
See who really knows what's going on. Yeah.
You know how this is where we need you remember Doug Lingerie with his Photoshop skills?
Yeah, of course.
This is where we need him in our lives to put our heads on the double dragon guys.
I agree. We show up in double dragon costumes at big podcast,
of course,
Incorporated,
the head of all podcasting world.
Yeah, right. And we just kick, we just like head kick everyone all the way up. Like we go through every floor, we have to like destroy them double dragon style all the way to the top.
Here's what I'm picturing. You remember the
until we get to Doug
Street
podcast.
Fighter 2? That kick. You go flying across, but we need to do the Ken one.
Yeah.
Because the Ken one, you kind of elevated a little.
Oh.
And we're just flying through the building, just constant spin kicks. Helicopters of death.
We're just doing like bicycle kicks. I was just thinking of, was it Mortal Kombat? Was it Liu Kang that does the bicycle kick from like one side of the screen to the other, basically?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. Or you do that, I'll do the E Honda 100 hand slap.
I can't kick high enough to be Chun-Li, so. But I could damn well fly through the air.
You'd look amazing in that costume. Yeah. You'd fill out that costume, though. In all the wrong places. Right. Like, please don't kick. Like, because I know you're traditional.
Yeah. I assume this is a kilt. No, it's a skirt. Whatever.
Yeah. Be like, okay, dude, the traditional thing's only for kilts. In skirts, it's fine to wear something underneath. Nah, I don't like the way it bunches.
All right, so Chun-Li in a skirt or in a kilt, would that be Chung-Leary? All right.
Yes.
Chung-Leary.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
But yeah, so I want to hear what people's boasts are, and I could send you the post I found, Brian, to give people an example if you want.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea, because I think otherwise, like if they listen, then they'll understand. But if they haven't listened to the show, which first of all, shame on them. But second of all, they better hope they're not in big podcast building when we come and call in. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Just this put it in the chat. It's personal. Because this time it's personal. Yes, I love it.
Like my pizza from Pizza Hut. Dude, that would have been great commercial for
really
Book It Club. Like you read some like action book and
he takes sunglasses away.
Shows the kid getting the
they're too wide for my face. Takes the sunglasses off.
Oh no. Yep.
This time it's personal.
It's personal. The Pizza Hut goon just slides his personal pan in front of him. Yeah, that's Pizza the Hut's kid, or one of his henchmen, I guess.
Pizza the Goon.
Pizza the Goon. I don't know.
It does seem very weird. I don't like it.
Return to the Pizza Lagoon.
That's sexy. I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Bo Derek with pepperoni bikini or something. I'm into that.
I mean, all right. You had me a pepperoni bikini.
Yes.
If you want to see more pepperoni, head on over to saltylanguage.com.
That works.
Click the links there. Also, check out tangiboutnetwork.com, which is the home of the network we're part of. Please check out the other shows there, as well as if you need a home for your show, give them a shout out. And if you happen to talk to Mark, what do you got for Mark this week? You gonna drop a sausage?
Well, I mean, he is Mr. Entrepreneur. So completely suggests that they need to do a tangent drop or something. A tangent bound dong drop. It's just a big
mic drop.
Oh, that's it. The mic drop.
That's what we do. Right. The dong drop though.
Yeah.
It's just a zipper at the end.
Flops
It just
out.
flops.
Happy New Year!
Oh my! It shoots confetti everywhere.
It's like the gore dick. It's just shooting confetti and fake semen. At least we hope it's fake.
Yes.
All over the crowd.
Fake. Yeah. Yeah.
I do like the idea of a microphone drop, though. For a podcast network, that's a freebie for you, Mark. I don't think he listens. He should.
No. But I also think he should start a tangent-bound sausage line, starting with salty language sausage, of course.
The saltiest of sausages.
Yeah, double-ended, of course, for their pleasure.
Dude, we should have our own pasta sauces. Saucy language? Come on. Writes itself.
Yes. Ooh, I like that. You're right. It should be the worst sauce, too.
There's that noise again.
What is going on?
What that is.
Why are there spooky raccoons in your house or something?
We got the catnip toys. I bet you she's under our bed fucking around.
Oh, yeah,
it's
that
like
would make
above
sense.
me is the bedroom. Yeah. So, that's got to be what it is.
Yeah, that would make sense. All right.
Anywho.
Where were we? If you want to reach out to us on the socials, hit us up on Twitter at salty_language. You can find me on the other Blue Sky, Instagram, Twitter, Threads at Stu.
You can find me. I'm currently still on Instagram.
You have to find Tony.
Yes, out in the woods. You have to get by the punji pits and booby traps. Yes.
Yeah.
Good luck. If you get to it, though, it's like a quest.
Yeah.
Seek me on the mountain, and ye shall have your plugs. So, patreon.com/saltylanguage. And Salty Language Pod on the YouTubes. If you're watching this, awesome. You rule. If you're not watching it, why not? It's there. Give us a like and subscribe. Like I was saying, patreon.com/saltylanguage. $3 a month. It gets you all kinds of content, and even free will get you some content. So,
yeah, it will.
Give us a subscribe, or at least go check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell your friends. Steal their credit cards and subscribe.
Brian, you also have yourself a sitch on the side.
I do. I have another podcast called The Crazy Life with our friend Heno and I, and usually we're talking about just kind of what's going on in our life and we're recovery, mental health, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, the next episode should be about our word for the year, where, like I said, we kind of choose a word that's, the direction we want to kind of point ourselves in the new year.
Recall what your last year's word was?
I do not. I have it probably. I'd have to look it up, but I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah. Yeah, probably. Oh, that'd be a terrible one for me. I'll never.
What was that word?
Yeah. No, I started putting it in the show notes. That way we can easily look it up for the next one. Because originally I wasn't doing that. And we were like,
I'm pretty sure mine was.
Like, you have to go back and
zucchini?
Listen. I think yours was Chung-Li skirt.
Chung O'Leary.
Chun-Li. I keep saying Chung-Li.
Yes.
Yeah, Chung O'Leary. There's your Halloween.
That would actually be hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially going traditional, doing all those kicks.
I mean, that's the gag, isn't it?
Oh my God. Right. Yeah.
It's not.
Well, the gag will be when they look.
It's not some smoke show Asian that does squats all day. It's freaking some gristle. It's like what's his name? Groundskeeper Willie. And he does 100 asp strikes of Scotland or whatever, and it's just just red bush and grundle with kicks.
Yep. He beats his opponent with cheek claps.
Yes, exactly.
Like he punches them with each buttock, like they're a speed bag.
Killian's Irish Red.
Oh, it's a mess. Real mess.
Hey, that's funny. I'm gonna go up now.
All right. Yep, me too. All right. Well, there you go. So until next week, Oh man, I don't know. At this point, you probably gotta have some Pepto or something. Calm your stomach back down.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely gonna need that.
Shots to forget this show ever happened. Or have a beer and you'll be fine. Either way, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Stay salty like Tony's rant.
Yeah, for sure.